Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Chris Eubank Jr. and his loss to Liam Smith. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time right now to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And if you have, I would like to say thank you. And there's more to come, I promise you. Also, if you could hit the thumbs up button, it really does help and support this channel. So let's get back to it. So the question is right now, Chris Eubank Jr., after his shocking loss, because I was one of the guys who said that Chris Eubank Jr. would easily beat Liam Smith. And I guess the question is, what happens now? Well, there was a rematch clause put in play for their fight. So we know it's there. The question for this video is, should he act on the rematch clause? And I get, how dramatic it was. It was very dramatic. Even, for a moment, he was so disoriented. He was coming back in to engage after the ref had stopped the fight. But here's what I'm going to say. He was easily winning the fight. As a matter of fact, I feel like his loss to Liam Smith was a case of being complacent and a case of being way too comfortable with a guy who could punch. Liam Smith can punch. Liam Smith is very basic. Liam Smith is very straight up and down and straightforward, but he can punch. If he can't do nothing else, he can punch. And he's a determined fighter. A determined fighter who can punch is a very, very serious opponent and dangerous fighter. And by the third round, which was Chris Eubank's best rounds, and I believe he won the first two as well, he really teed off in that third round. And he had every reason or right to come out in the fourth thinking this is about to be a walk in the park. Look what I just did. I'm about to just put the icing on this cake and finish it off. I remember he even mentioned, he's going to saute him, filet mignon style. Well, he got sauteed, but he was ripening. He was tenderizing the meat in the third round. He was really hitting Liam Smith. The issue is, if you go back and you look at the fight, Chris Eubank Jr.'s confidence was already high because, like myself, I believe he would easily beat Liam Smith. And if you look at the end of every round, the start of the next round, 2, 3, and 4, his hands got progressively lower and lower and lower as his comfort level rose higher and higher and higher, along with his confidence level. I do not want to take any credit away from Liam Smith, but the reality is Chris put himself in that predicament as much as Liam did. Liam took advantage of the fact that Chris put himself in that predicament. So shout out and kudos to Liam Smith for seeing an opening and having the gall to take it. And take it he did. So congrats, you're getting full credit on my end. But I also give a percentage of the credit to Chris Eubank Jr., who got complacent. He literally dropped his hands lower after the first round, then lower after the second round. The third round, he did so well, it was just like, all right, I'm going to go in there and knock this guy out. I got his number. I'm faster. I hit hard. He's acknowledged already that I hit hard. It's time to put him away. Okay, that's just complacency. Because you voided out defense and you were solely offensive going into that fourth round. So, yes, I give credit to Liam Smith. Absolutely. Listen, you finished your man. You said you were going to put him out, and you put him out. No issues there. But with Chris, just complacency. So, with that being said, do I think that Chris Eubank should act on the rematch clause? Yes, I do, 150%. I think Chris Eubank Jr. should act on the rematch clause because all he has to do is show his opponent respect, and he wins in that fight, in that rematch. He beats Liam Smith, absolutely. And then they can set up the trilogy fight. They can. We already got the story. We already had previously we had a backstory. Now we have a story. They could absolutely set up a trilogy fight. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more bad blood. Yeah, they shook and hugged hands, and they held hands and hugged and all that after the fight. But after a dramatic finish like that, well, that's the only way to honestly do it. And quite frankly, I feel like Roy Jones told Chris Eubank Jr. to go over there to Liam Smith. Initially, Liam was still hot and he was still screaming and he was rowdy. But a knockout does that to you. But I feel like the fight would go much differently if Chris Eubank Jr. would have given his opponent the respect that he deserved. And he wasn't showing him a whole lot of respect in that third round. And I imagine the fourth round was going to be a continuation of the third round if he had his way. And he was planning on having his way. But like I said, just, you've gotten so comfortable in there now, you drop your hands. And it's so early, so Liam is still fresh. And that opening is there. All you need is a crack. You don't need the door to be fully open. You just need a crack. And that's exactly what he did. He cracked that jaw. So shout out to Liam. But I would like to see a rematch. I won't be happy if they just leave it as is. I feel like there needs to be a rematch. There's still unsettled business and unfinished business between Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. And it's arguably a fluke. It is. It is. And Chris quickly acknowledged it after the fight. He's like, no, I was winning. Roy Jones Jr. was like, well, no, he was winning. When you looked at the scorecards, he was winning. He was winning. Some people had 2 rounds up for Chris. 2 rounds up for Chris. But either way, listen, he was winning. I personally think he won all 3 rounds, but he was winning. He was clearly winning. And I think if Chris Eubank Jr. is the fighter that I am giving him credit to be, I think he won't be able to sleep well at night until he sets that record straight. That's what I think. And I think he must, if for nothing else. Listen, I think he must get the rematch. Just to settle it within himself. He must get the rematch. Now let me address all the people who, and I've said this several times on Fighting Words, why is boxing so quick to retire somebody? Somebody goes out into a ball court and, let's say LeBron James doesn't, or Steph Curry doesn't make 30 points. He only makes 15 points tonight. Should he retire? No, he didn't, all right, yeah, he didn't do what he normally does, but it's okay. Guess what? We're human. It's okay. In boxing, no, you should retire. Nassim Hamed, after the end of the fight, why is he always trying to retire somebody? Like, this dude is, listen, we get it. When you got your first loss, you ran for the hills. And I know that must be something that's burning inside of your heart, and you wish you had not have done that. Because every time somebody gets beat, Nassim Hamed is the first one to say, oh, you should retire. Oh, we got to get him out of the ring. He shouldn't come back anymore. No, that's what you did. That's what you did. Who are you to tell another man when his fire is out? That's what you did. You have to live with that. And something is clearly haunting you inside, because every time somebody goes down, first thing you do is proclaim that they should retire. You need to retire. This is not for you anymore. This sport has surpassed you now. No, that's up for Chris Eubank Jr. to decide. And he was winning the fight. So if he chooses to, love, support, and respect to him. If he chooses to. But if he chooses not to, I agree with that. Because I know it's burning him inside, especially, days after. It's burning him inside. Man, I really could have won that fight. I really could have won that fight. And I let that fight slip between my hands. Now, let me address another thing. Conor Ben, laughing. Oh, if that would have been me, it would have been 2 rounds. If it would have been you, trust me, Chris would have been more cautious. Why? Because Conor Ben is undefeated. Why? Because we all know that Conor Ben has something in his system. That's another reason why. Why? Because there is the name Eubank tied to this fight. it's not just Chris and Conor fighting. It's the name Eubank and Ben. Chris was going to come in 150% locked, loaded, ready to go. So, for him to make that comment and have the audacity while he's sitting on the sidelines waiting to see if he can get back in the game, coach, because you've been cheating, you have the audacity to make videos and make claims and laugh and joke. Listen, for nothing else, all right, Chris lost. He got knocked out. Cool. But he got knocked out clean. He was clean when he got knocked out. Can you say the same thing? Do we know if all your fights were clean? We don't know. And for the rest of your career, there's going to be a big old question mark tied to your career because we don't know. And how dare you sit there and mock him? You don't know. Not cool, not classy at all. And that's really all I want to say about that. You give me your thoughts about if Chris Eubank Jr. should do the rematch. Also, what are your thoughts on Conor Ben saying that he could have taken Chris Eubank out in 2 rounds, which a fully committed Chris Eubank Jr. I seriously doubt. But I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Drop your comments down below. As always, you know me, I would love to hear what you have to say. Please like, please share, please subscribe to the channel.